everyone. Happy Monday. I'm happy to be with you. My name is Janelle Villiers. And if you're joining me, you are joining me on the Janelle Villiers podcast. Hello. I'm happy to be with you here today and every Monday, same time. And sometimes when I'm on, I bring on other authors so you guys can hear from other authors and hear about their journey. Oh, back up. I love to talk about books, all things books, how to help people write their books, publish their books, how to make money from the book, that part right there. And I recently become an AI certified consultant. And so I also describe how to use AI and things like that, either with the book or without the book, just for, building businesses, et cetera. And so this is the time that we're in. I love talking about both of these things. And so I'm excited to bring that information to you, bring you some value, help you guys out there. For those trying to figure it out, I'm happy to be here with you to help you figure it out. So if I'm not talking about a topic and I'm not interviewing another author, then sometimes I'm interviewing somebody who hasn't written or published a book yet, but their story is worth sharing because it makes a huge impact. So I am excited to be with you. If this is the first time that you're here on the show, please go ahead and put a 1 in the comments. I love to shout out everyone who's coming on for the first time. Hi, first timers. And if those of you who have been here before, go ahead and put a 2 in the comments. That lets me know that you've been here before and you're returning, and I love to see you. And if you're watching the recording, go ahead and put an R. That's sign language for R. Go ahead and put an R in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Please, whether you're watching live or the recording, I always look at the comments. I answer all the questions. So if you have questions along the way, if you have comments along the way, please drop them in the comments, whether you're on YouTube, LinkedIn, or Facebook. I love to see them. I love to try to answer them. And I want to give you guys value in real time. So let's get this show on the road started, shall we? So today, what are we talking about? Today, the topic is the consulting sales system behind every 7-figure firm. All right, let's get into this. All right, guys, because I know what you're thinking. You're like, how do these guys even get there? I just started consulting. Like, how do people even manage to get to a space where they're making that kind of money? So let's get into that. I have several things that I want to share with you. Hello, hi. I see some people saying hello. Hello to Josie and hello to Soladorno. Happy to have you guys all here. And so let's get into it, right? Let's get into some of the things I want to share. You guys know that I have notes because I don't want to miss a thing. Okay, so let's talk about the first thing. Actually, let me start off by asking you guys a question. Are you exhausted from constantly chasing clients? I'm just curious. Are you exhausted from constantly chasing clients? I've been there. I'm going to raise my hand. Another question for you is, do you feel like every month starts from zero and you're wondering where the next project will come from? I know a lot of people out there, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of consultants where this is a real struggle. Like, you don't want to deal with this anymore, right? So I want to lay out some truth here, is that most people won't tell you that when you're in that kind of system and you're constantly looking for clients, you're like burnt out already. You just started. That's not really a business model. It's a hamster wheel. All right. And so today we're going to be revealing the sales system that every 7-figure consulting firm uses to build their company. And I want you to understand that this is in theory. I figured out the exact framework that I've used. I've taught to consultants who basically, these people have used this to be able to transform their businesses. I've seen other people use it as well. And so I want to make sure that you guys have all the frameworks ready for you for establishing your business. Okay. So if most consultants are living month to month, never knowing where the next client is coming from, then you're probably in a state where you're constantly networking, right? You're like pitching what you do. You're following up with people who've reached out to you. You're basically like hoping something sticks, right? You're like throwing it out there, hoping something sticks. Even when you land clients, right? It feels like you're basically starting over each time. And the problem isn't that you're not good enough, right? Like, I want to make sure that's clear. You are a gem. You're one of a kind. You're really good at what you're doing, right? It's that you don't have a system. That's the problem. And without a system, every sale requires the same exhausting effort. You're trading time and energy for unpredictable results. And this is why really talented consultants like yourself stay stuck at 6 figures while the others are scaling to 7. So let's talk about why this may fail. Sorry, clicked on the wrong button. Yes, please. Why does this fail? It's failing. Okay, a lot of people aren't talking about this because it's failing because persuasion doesn't scale. If you're constantly trying to persuade people, that's not like how you build a business. And when you rely on convincing people to work with you, you're basically constantly selling every single time. And you're explaining your value, you're justifying your price, you're overcoming objections every single time. And this approach is basically treating every prospect like they need to be convinced, right? You're like having to convince them. But this is where things change, right? So a lot of 7-figure consultants, they don't convince. They're not doing that. They're actually attracting who they're looking for. So I know some people are out there and they're really wanting to attract, right? So when you're constantly persuading, basically I want to just be honest, you're in the wrong conversation, right? You're probably not having conversations with the right people. And let's be honest, persuading people is exhausting because you're working against the natural behavior of what people do when they're buying. And so the consultants who scale have moved beyond the persuasion to positioning themselves as being the authority in their area. And so people are looking to work with them. Okay. So instead of a sales funnel, you need a filtration system, to be honest, right? Because you're trying to get to the right clients. So think of it this way. A funnel tries to catch everyone and a filter lets the right people through. And your job isn't convincing anymore, okay? That's not what you're doing. Instead, you're learning to attract and identify the right clients. The filtration system has 3 components, all right? The first is visibility. The second is credibility. And the third is qualification. Clip that. So what is visibility? Visibility is basically where your ideal clients need to know you exist, right? And I'll just point out there that this is where your book comes in. All right. So the credibility is where your ideal clients need to see you as the authority in your space. Like you're like the go-to person, you're the expert. They're like, this is the person, right? And again, a book helps with that. And then finally, qualification. This is when they need to pre-qualify themselves, right? Before they ever talk to you. And when these 3 work together, you're going to stop chasing and you're going to start attracting people. So let's talk about the 3 pillars of the 7-figure consulting firm. What are the 3 pillars of their sales system? Number 1, your book. Your book isn't just a credential, it's your sales system foundation. Your book is what's demonstrating to the people who are reading it. It's demonstrating how you do things, your methodology, your framework. It shows how you think, right? What is your unique approach to solving this problem that they have? And also, when they're reading your book, they're starting to think, wait, is this for me or is this not for me? Both are wins, right? Because you want to attract the people who recognize, oh yeah, this is for me. And so the book is doing the heavy lifting of educating and qualifying people before you ever even have a conversation with them. And that is why every, please hear me when I tell you, every single 7-figure consultant, every single one that I know either has a book or is writing one. So let's talk about the second pillar. The second pillar is delivering value before you even sell somebody, right? So you give away your framework for free or at a low cost through courses, workshops, or even content, right? Like put stuff that you're putting out on social media. And so I think a lot of people actually get scared about that. They're like, wait, won't this mean people won't hire me because like I'm putting my stuff out there for free? The answer to that is no. Actually, the opposite happens, because when people experience your framework, the method with which you do things, the right ones want your help to implement how you do the thing that you do, right? And so your course or your content becomes the ultimate filter. People who engage are pre-qualified leads because they're like, oh yeah, I love the methodology, I understand it, and now I just need this person, this authority in this space to help me implement this into my life. So instead of thinking you need to convince or persuade them, you're taking the people who are interested and they're actually now ready to invest and work with you because they understand that you're going to be the guide to help them implement your framework or your methodology to get them, again, to the other side of their goal. All right. And the third pillar is creating a very structured journey for your client. So every seven-figure consultant that I know has a very clear path from stranger to client. And so the book is a big part of that, because the book leads them to the course or the content that you have. And then that typically leads to a discovery call where they're trying to find out more. You're trying to figure out if you're a good fit. And then you propose what you think might work for them. And then there's onboarding after that, right? So each step filters and qualifies while building trust and demonstrating your value with this potential client. And so by the time someone gets on a call with you, for example, they're already 80% sold, to be honest. They're like, there's no convincing that you need to do. There's no persuading that you have to do. So you're not pitching all over again. You're just confirming that you guys are a good fit and then outlining what the next steps would be, right? Does that make sense? Okay. So you might be thinking, like, does this really happen? Like, where's the proof in that? So some proof exists in that when you do implement this, what you'll see, the changes that you'll see, is that when you have this system, the prospects that you come across, they actually start coming to you already sold. So you find that you're not really convincing like you used to be, right? So that's how you know that you've started to implement these pillars in a really strong way. The other thing is that they've read your book. They've read your book. They've seen your social media posts, right? They understand your approach and the way that you do things. And that way they're like, oh yeah, like I already know what you do. Like I just need for us to work together now, right? And so by the time they reach out, they're asking, how can we work together now, right? Like that's like the big ask, like how can we make this work? And so this is the shift that I've seen people go from persuading to positioning. That's what that looks like. That's what that feels like. And so when clients pre-qualify, your closing rate is gonna like go through the roof, right? It's gonna skyrocket. And that cycle that you have of like the sales cycle, it's gonna shorten significantly. And then you're no longer really explaining, right? You don't have to explain your value. You don't have to explain like what you do. You're really just like exploring if there's a mutual fit. Is there alignment with what you're doing and what they're doing, right? What they're trying to do, I should say, and how you can guide them there. And this is what allows you to scale, because qualified leads are now coming to you consistently. And so your book is the most powerful positioning tool you have. It's working for you 24/7, right? You're not even around. People are reading your book. It's like working for you all the time. And so it's reaching people you'll never ever meet in person, to be honest. I mean, let's be honest, right? And so when someone reads your book, they're essentially, I mean, let's be real. It's kind of like they're interviewing you, right? If we're being honest. Again, they're interviewing you, but in a much more passive way. They get to hear your thoughts and how you think. They get to understand your philosophy, your way of doing things, your perspective on things, particularly whatever it is, the problem that they currently have. And then by the end, this either resonates completely or they already know they're not the right fit, right? And then this saves you, gosh, this is going to save you hours and hours and hours, right? Those discovery calls, you guys all know this, right? You spend hours on those discovery calls, they add up. And then when there's misalignment, now it feels like everybody's wasted their time because, they're like, oh, you're not really a good fit. Oh, you feel like you're convincing. It's like this weird thing. And we all want to try to reduce that as much as possible, right? Because that is not fun, right? And if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. That's something that I truly believe in. And so your book creates what I call the algorithmic alignment. And that's basically that the right people are finding you. This is how you move from the selling that we're constantly doing to actually serving the people who already want what you have. Okay. So what I want you to take from all this, again, if this has been valuable, go ahead and put a V in the comments so I know that you found this valuable. I want you to think of it this way, right? So generic consultants have to persuade specialists with a named methodology, a framework, steps to get to the goal or get to the transformation that your clients want. They attract. Specialists attract. So I want you to ask yourself, what is your framework? This is the first step in the strategy to build this out, right? So the first thing that you need to figure out is, what is your framework? What is your process? And then do you have a name for it? Let's call it something. Let's name it, right? Like you're making it yours, right? You're making it your intellectual property. This is yours to hold on to. You're going to put it in a book, right? And then when you have this method that's yours, you've put a name on it, you've put your stamp on it, you're no longer competing because you're the only one who has this. So, right? So you are the authority in your area. And then your book articulates this method in depth, better than anything that you could have done in any other manner. So that's step one in the strategy. Step two is I want you to start demonstrating. Don't tell, I want you to demonstrate. So stop talking about your results. I want you to start I want you to start showing your thinking process. Show people how you go about doing things. I want you to share with people your frameworks, your templates, case studies that you've worked through, right? The courses that you do, right? Any of the content that you're putting out there. I want you to share all of that with them, because when your prospects see your framework, when they see it in action, they want your guidance. They're going to be like, oh yeah, that, like the way that they were able to do that, I want that. And this is why giving away your best stuff actually increases your sales. It's the best way to go. So step three in the strategy is I want you to be able to point very clearly to how people can start working with you. Where are the entry points for them to start to work with you? I want you to make it really obvious how someone moves from, oh, I'm just interested, to, yeah, let me enroll in their course or enroll in, their consulting. One of the best ways to do this, again, is to have a book. And so they go from reading your book to joining your masterclass to applying to be a client that gets consulted by you, right? So you become their consultant. Or it could be that they download your framework and then they take your course and then they book a strategy call to then work with you much more deeply, right? Maybe one-on-one or something like that. But I want you to understand that if this is ambiguous in any way, it's going to kill your conversion. So you need to make sure that this is super obviously clear, so that way it creates momentum. So the reason why this works is because the system respects how humans actually make buying decisions. People don't want to be sold. We all know this. You don't want to be sold. They want to make informed decisions. They want to be like, okay, based on this, this is what makes the most sense. When you give them the information and experience to decide, then they basically self-select. Oh yeah, this is me. This is what I want. That's definitely for me. And then this means that your conversion rates are going to go up, while your effort to do that is going to go down. And so you're working smarter, not harder. You hear that all the time, right? How can I work smarter, not harder? This is the way. I've just laid out the strategic plan, the steps to get you to do that. So the consultants that are stuck at 6 figures are still trying to convince, and the 7-figure ones, they basically have systems. That's really the bottom line. So I'm just going to leave you with this. I'm just going to be very direct with you before I take off, because my time is almost up. If what I'm describing sounds like what you want, but you don't know how to build it, I just want you to know that's exactly what I do. I help consultants, coaches, and entrepreneurs write the book that becomes their positioning tool. And then I show them how to turn that book into a course, right? For those of you that have been watching this for a really long time, you know that I've been a professor for over 10 years. Use my experience of being a professor, leverage my experience, and I can teach you how to turn your book into a course, group programs, and consulting offers. This is really not theory. I want you guys to understand. I've built this system for myself, and I've taught it to so many other people. And if you're ready to stop relying on persuasion and start building a real system, a real one, then let's talk. I'd love to talk with you. I want you to know that the book is the foundation. Your course is going to be the filter, and your consulting, that's what's going to be the transformation, not only for your business, but also for your clients, because together they create the 7-figure firm you've been working really hard towards. I want you to know that you don't need more talent or better connections or good luck, right? You just need a system that positions you as the obvious choice. You are the obvious choice, and you need a book that does your selling while you're sleeping, right? We're talking about passive stuff here where people are learning about you. And so you need a clear path that turns interested prospects into committed clients. The book is going to do that. And that's the difference between 6 and 7 figures. That's the system that I am sharing with you today, that I just shared with you. So watch this again so you can get all the steps. And if you're ready to build it for yourself, I'm here to help you implement all the steps into your business so that way you can do exactly that. Drop a comment below. Tell me what's one thing holding you back right now from building the system. I'd love to know and see how I can help. And if you're ready to write your book that becomes your sales system, I'd love for you to reach out. Say book and let me know that you're interested in this. And then let's turn your expertise into authority platforms. These authority platforms are what are going to bring you clients. They're going to come to you. All right, everyone, that is my time. Again, go ahead and put book if you're interested to write a book. I'd also love to know what's the one thing holding you back from building the system that we just talked about. I read all the comments. I will get back to you. I can't wait to hear from you. I will be back next week, same time, with another topic to help you guys win. See you there. Bye.